Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to GMIHub Online. I have a question for you. 10K, 10 months. If you were given that challenge for your music project or any arts project, would you be able to do it? Well, tonight we're going to meet someone who has done it, and we're going to meet the person who owns an organization that helps artists earn their 10K in 10 months. But before we go to those people, let me introduce you to our wonderful co-host, Dale Borland. Dale. And Dale, his mic needs to go on. Unmute.
I do that quite a bit. I just put myself into it and go, oh, yeah, I forgot to start my microphone. Sorry. Hey, it's so cool for you guys to be joining us this evening as we're going to be talking about rocket fuel. It's going to be amazing. Just to remind you that the GMI Hub here is online with our YouTube channel. And if this is your first time visiting, thank you. You're welcome to be here. This is so cool. Subscribe if you haven't done that already. Also, hit the notification bell. You'll know the next time we put up a video. And it'd be really nice to keep in contact with you. Leave something in the chat with us, talk with us, and let us know. Would love to hear from you, and hit that little thumbs up. Like that video. That's a cool thing. Also, we want to let you know you can really get in touch with what's going on with us through our website, gmihub.ca. We have a connection point there where you can actually email us. And if you email us, we'll be sure to keep in contact with you. Every month, we'll send a newsletter out. It's called Hub Happening, and it'll be sent your way every month. And we're not going to spam you or anything. We just want to make sure you're part of the community and know what's happening. And now, also, a really cool thing, part of that is if you're an artist, a producer, an events planner, or you've got something that's going on that you want to make us aware of, we'll put that in our Hub Happening. Yeah, free advertising. Pretty cool, eh? So we can help you out. GMIHub.ca, and check it out and join our community today. Now, we're going to talk about rocket fuel.
Well, without further ado, let's introduce our guest tonight. Yes, we are talking about rocket fuel. Now, a few months ago, you may have seen an advertisement related to 10K in 10 months. It's a challenge that's been given out to artists, I guess, all around the world. And I love the fact that it is from Rocket Fuel. It's from an organization that actually has a passion to help artists be financially stable, get stronger, have ability to support their music and support their arts. And we love the fact that we have Andy Baker back with us all the way from England. Thank you so much, Andy, for being here. Andy himself is a songwriter and recording artist, but I love the fact that his heart is to help others and to help artists become successful. And he's helped several artists, lots of artists, hundreds of artists. So thank you so much, Andy, for being here. Good to see you.
Oh, it's great to have you invite me and invite me back. I sometimes get invited places, but to be invited back, that's a rare treat. So, no, thank you for having me. It's definitely worth staying up to. It's actually just gone midnight where I am, so
Oh,
but it's
wow.
lovely to connect with you guys again.
And it's so lovely to have you. And we are also excited to have all the way from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, we have Vili V. Vili V, you've seen before on our songwriter circles. He has been involved in our Christmas projects. He's got a couple of songs that he's done. He's also done his own recordings as well. He's a singer, he's a songwriter, he's a contemporary crooner. And I love the fact that he is one of the people that actually took part in this challenge, the 10K in 10 months. And we're going to hear his story tonight. Vili, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much, Cheryl and Dale and Daryl, for having me here. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So let's get started. Many questions come to mind, but some people who are watching may not know who Rocket Fuel is. What is Rocket Fuel and what is the premise of Rocket Fuel? So Andy, help us out. Tell us a little bit more about Rocket Fuel.
Okay, so I'm going to have to take you back in time, and we're going to visit outer space as well. So I have a trusty companion along with me. This is Archie the astronaut, who you can see behind me, with the yellow visor and orange visor, sorry. And he's here with me in person as well. So it's a few years ago now. I was managing an awesome artist in the UK called Philippa Hanna. She's now signed with Integrity Music, and I've been working with Philippa for quite a few years, and she was getting some cool opportunities. She'd just been on tour with Lionel Richie in the UK, opening his arena shows. She'd been doing a lot of her own headline events, and she had a growing audience, and it was really exciting managing Philippa, seeing her audience grow. But as her audience began to grow and opportunities started to come up, the overheads started to grow as well. The costs involved with being a successful independent artist became more and more. So we were looking at how could we generate the support that we needed. Now, at the time, we didn't have a label paying the bills for the projects, for marketing the music. We were doing everything in house. We were booking all the shows as a management team. We were helping out, tour managing. We were running the label. We were doing the publishing. We were literally wearing 100 different hats. And it was around the time when artists who traditionally made money from physical products were starting to feel the pain of people not wanting to buy physical products anymore. CD sales were going down and down, and it was starting to feel a bit kind of uncertain for independent artists. And we kind of had this feeling that for many artists we were working with, that streaming was not going to pay the bills. Now, streaming, of course, is brilliant if you're hitting millions of streams every month consistently without fail. It can be a really good passive revenue source. But let's face it, not that many artists are achieving that without the support from big organizations and companies and huge marketing budgets. Now, of course, it can happen, but of course, people also win the lottery as well, don't they? But it's something you can't really control. So we decided to look at what was kind of happening, and we used sites like Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and there are other platforms in the UK as well. We'd run actually 25 successful crowdfunding campaigns prior to 2014. We were kind of really involved as crowdfunding was starting kind of in its infancy in many ways. But what we saw was a real need for artists not to just raise money in the short term for a project, a one-off project, but actually to get supporters on board for the distance. So we essentially, back in 2014, which seems like a lifetime ago now, we developed a hybrid crowdfunding model. So the idea with Rocketfuel is essentially it's your online store. As a music artist, you can sell your music, merch, you can sell different products, but you can also run a goal. You can look to fund a new project. You have a progress bar, you have a counter, you have a deadline, and then you can also do subscriptions as well. So it enables you to do what you might do through your online store, plus Kickstarter, plus Patreon. And back in 2014, we thought this was quite innovative, but kind of 8 years later, nothing really's kind of entered the market that's become become kind of a market leader in hybrid reward-based crowdfunding, which is kind of what we do. Sorry to speak all technical there, but this is crowdfunding, but it's a hybrid model of doing goals, continued online store, and subscriptions in one place. And nobody really caters for that. But having seen what we achieved with Philippa, over £100,000, that's over 150,000 US dollars raised through the platform, it really does work. And having used all the other platforms out there, I would say in the long run, artists who commit to the model with Rocketfuel stand to make a lot more revenue than they would do through their own online stores plus crowdfunding. It's a really, really good way of bringing everything together. Sorry if that's too much information. But...
No, that's fantastic. So since its inception, how many artists do you think have gone through the Rocketfuel program?
Well, yeah, we've had scores of artists launch with Rocketfuel. We get lots of people interested who maybe sign up. Hundreds of people have signed up, and scores of artists have launched. We have a really good success rate in terms of people gaining support because we're very hands-on in helping people. When you go to some of the bigger sites, and I don't want to speak badly of anyone in this space, but you're just a number. You're just a ticket in the system. There aren't any people kind of there who are there to really help you. So the cool thing about Rocketfuel is it's a boutique. It's more of a boutique than a kind of big brand solution, which means we're much more hands-on with people, helping them than some of the other platforms might be. But we're coming up to our first $1 million that we've raised through the platform. So it's kind of not mega big, but it's also not just a new thing that we're trying out. It's been going for quite a few years, and we decided in 2020, in order to try and help more artists, because we'd been doing this as a bit of a sideline for a few years. It worked really well for Philippa, but we decided in 2020 we wanted to open this up to artists outside of the UK. We wanted to help artists who'd struggled through the pandemic. And so we decided to launch the Rocketfuel Academy, which is essentially a training program that artists can go through, which will help them and hold their hand so they can get set up on the platform. Because a lot of artists don't know where to start when it comes to crowdfunding. Some people will say things like, hey, I don't want to do crowdfunding. Isn't that just asking people for money? And I'm like, no, no, no. It's not. It's not asking people for money. You have something of value as an artist to offer your audience, and it's amazing. Some people will want to spend a lot of money to support you. Other people might just, might just want free content. But what we try and do is help artists to understand how to engage their audience, how to get people along for the journey. We teach them about how to segment their audience into their crowd, community, and core, and understand the motivations of different supporters. And I think once you've done that, it can be really liberating, because you realize that actually you don't have to just make music for free. So you don't have to make music and give it away for free while spending money on creating it and marketing it for the privilege of people consuming it for free. So we try and help to kind of redress some of the imbalance that there's been in people's mindsets and mentalities around the value of their music. A lot of people just feel that they have to give it all away for free and go broke in the process trying to build a crowd. That's just not the way art should work. We should be inviting people to journey with us, support us, and believe in us, work with us, and that's why we love Rocketfuel, because it helps people to take their ideas.
It also
turn them
shows the
into
artist has value. Absolutely. Now, I don't want to step on Cheryl right now, but I have a tentative question that would tie in with that, because you talked about the rocket fuel and how it's set up. So if I ask Vili, what was your first impression of rocket fuel, and what made you decide that this is something you want? I'm just thinking from an artist's point of view, what made you
Right.
go to rocket fuel to work with them?
Well, it came at a point in time where I was already thinking about recording an album and how I was going to promote it and how I was going to plan all of that. So when I saw the ad, I said, "Oh, this is interesting." And then I got to speak with Andy, and I watched a video, and I just said, let's give it a try, because it looked very promising. So I thought it was a good idea.
And you joined the academy. Is that how you went through the program?
Well, first you're setting up your profile. So I spent a lot of time doing that. And then after you've set everything up, then you go into, there's an event that you do for your core followers, say your fans, it could be family, people that you know. And then there's a period where you're actually doing the campaign, which lasted about 6 weeks for me.
Interesting. I'm kind of curious. I mean, I think of my opening question, 10K in 10 months. Now, some people will look at that and go, yeah, right. Right. And I'm wondering, did you have that, yeah, right in your head? Or did you say, you know what? No, I'm going to give this a whirl and see what happens. Did you have any
Well,
reservations?
well, obviously I had my doubts because it's, the first time that I actually ever did a crowdfunding campaign.
Mm-hmm.
But there was something inside of me. I prayed about it, and there's something inside of me said, just do it. I felt compelled to do it, and I guess it was just my time. I was fortunate. I was blessed that I had people who wanted to actually support me, a core group of people, that really made the difference.
Awesome.
And
Now,
it was less than 10 weeks from first meeting and speaking and getting set up. It wasn't even 10 weeks. So this is the cool thing,
Yeah.
is that we want to give people like something realistic they can work towards. Now I believe artists, if they're committed and dedicated, 10K in 10 months is something so many artists can do, even if they haven't got a track record, even if they're just starting out. We give people give people examples of, if you utilize the subscription model, it can be so impacting. Like my mum and dad began supporting me when I started the Homegrown Worship project in 2018. I launched my own rocket fuel campaign, and one supporter at £35 a month, and it was my mum and dad. I have no shame in saying that. They were the first people to get on board. Over 2.5 years, that's £1,000 from one supporter, just one supporter, getting behind you. And the thing is, like, if you offer things to people they want to buy, if you have things that are of high value, services, experiences, as well as merchandise and things on the cheaper end, plus subscriptions, it's amazing how much you can generate in a relatively short space of time. And if you're consistent and do it over time, not everyone's going to make loads of money in their first few weeks like Vili did, but if you show people you're serious about what you're doing, you'll get more people on board. And it's the main indicator, is not always the size of someone's audience. It's how motivated and serious people are. And you kind of see that we get people sign up for programs who just give up and quit and look at how hard everything is. And then you get people like Vili who think, okay, this isn't a done deal. I'm not just entitled to this support, but I'll work hard. And Vili worked hard, and people saw that from his group of supporters, and people are like, yeah, we want to meet his enthusiasm. And we do see that so often that people are surprised by how much support they get. There's no guarantees. We can't promise anything, but it's so common that people are surprised by that generosity and people's eagerness to get behind them.
Now, you did say something, both of you kind of implied something that I just want to bring clarity. Do you have to have a huge, huge following in order to do rocket fuel? In other words, do you have to be like, I don't know, think of a famous artist that probably has 1 million followers. Do they have to have 1 million followers in order to do rocket
Absolutely
fuel?
not. So I'll break down some numbers for you. So okay, so we did a bit of analysis. We have an artist called Daisy who we work with in the UK, and she posted her Spotify Wrapped, and she had 75,000 streams in 2021. She had 20,000 listeners. Her average listener was worth 1.3 pence. I'm talking British pounds here, but 1.3 pence. It's a couple of cents. It's like not very much. That's the average amount of revenue per supporter. So that paid for a day in the studio. That's what she generated from her Spotify listeners. During the same time period on Rocket Fuel, she raised £16,500 from 98 supporters. Now, some people might think, well, I'm not going to get 98 supporters, but her average supporter was worth £166 on average. So it's not uncommon that artists will find their average supporter is worth $100, sometimes $200, sometimes even more than that in some instances. And if you just do the maths with that, you don't need a massive audience. And sometimes people, they'll get some really big hitters, people who want to make a big difference, someone who wants to sponsor a song, or they want some kind of personal experience or a house concert or something, and they're willing to pay over the odds for that experience because they know that by supporting you, they're going to help you to create your project and share your music and share the love with everyone. So we find time and again that the average value per supporter is massive. It's so much more than you will obviously get through streaming. It's so much more than just selling merchandise at $10 an album or whatever you're offering. And it just makes it really easy for people to support at whatever level they'd like to, whether that's $10, $100, $1,000, or sometimes even more. We've had people literally come and do like a shopping spree on the site and spend several $1,000s in one go, and the artist is like, what on earth just happened? But if you never do it, that's not going to happen for you. If you never give it a go, you'll never see whether you have that kind of support out there. So hopefully that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Just before we go on to a little commercial break, we're going to talk in just a few minutes about the things that artists themselves, in order to be a candidate, if you want to call it that, for Rocket Fuel. We're going to talk about that just after this commercial break. So stay tuned.
Are you writing a Christmas song? Do you want it on our Christmas CD? This year, send us your song for your chance on the CD. Submission deadline July 31st, 2022. Family Christmas Volume 3. Christmas 2022.
Family Christmas Volume 3. That's rocking around the Christmas tree with that music. It's so cool. So if you want to be part of that, July 31st is the deadline. Get your songs to us, gmihub.ca. We'd love you to be a part of this project.
That'll be awesome. Okay, so Dale, ask the next
Yes.
question. We want to get to that next stage, so go ahead.
What else should a potential candidate have in place in order to be a successful rocket fuel individual for this 10K challenge?
Yeah, okay. So I'll just clarify. Like, Rocket Fuel is a platform that people can sign up for, and the way we work is we take a 10% commission of what comes through the platform. We don't charge any fees for joining the platform. There's no subscription or anything like that. It's purely a revenue share, and you can sign up at any point. You can give it a go if you think that's something you'd like to do. However, we had a lot of artists kind of speaking to us over time, expressing real kind of interest in a range of different services that we do at Resound Media. So that's my kind of group of companies that I run here in the UK. But we've got a team in North America, we've got a team in the UK and further afield as well. And so what we decided to do was put together a really cool package of support for artists. So we have a training program called the Driving Seat, which is, I mean, it sounds really cheeky here, but you need to get me back on to do some stuff on the driving seat and teach our kind of core framework.
That's a perfect idea.
Absolutely.
We take people through kind
it.
of three things. You've got the wheel, the artist development framework. You've got the road, the brand development framework, and then we have the fuel, which is the business development framework. So we teach people these things. So we have this, and we have an online learning platform which we run interactive training programs through. Then we have you need to get me back for another session on the jigsaw. I'm so sorry. I've got a lot of stuff to share. And we do
Are these all new? Sorry, is this all new, Andy? Are these all new programs?
No, the driving seat we started last year. The jigsaw I've been doing for years, but because we're in the process at the moment of launching a new learning platform, we've been consolidating a lot of our training frameworks and stuff. But we have the jigsaw, which is a business planning program. And then we have a really cool process we do called the marketing map, which is helping people to map out their marketing and get a clear idea of how to promote their music properly. So we have a range of services we do. So what we decided to do kind of based on some feedback we were having from artists was actually do kind of like a joint project. So rather than just taking a commission for using the platform, what we do is as revenue comes in through Rocket Fuel via the 10K challenge, which is the program that Vili signed up for, half of the revenue, half of the money that comes in will go to the artist and their projects. That could be making a new album like Vili's doing, or it could be an EP, or building a studio in your garage like lots of people have done through lockdown. And then the other half of the money will go towards unlocking a schedule of services. So that will help people to get through the Rocket Fuel Academy. It'll help people to do, like Vili mentioned, the inner circle events where we gather people through Zoom, and we do these kind of launch events, which have been really successful. I know Vili got off to a flying start with, I think literally it was more than a couple of $1,000 came in a few days for Vili after doing his inner circle event. So he's not even gone public yet with Rocket Fuel, and already his campaign's off to a flying start. So we then have the driving seat and the jigsaw program, and then the marketing map consultations. We do kind of hands-on support for people. So this is all kind of under what we call the 10K challenge. So the 10K challenge is it's kind of an invite-only program that people can apply for. And then if we feel like people are serious about their music, they can join it, and it works on a really simple
Mhm.
model. Half of the money will go to the artist, half of the money comes to our company to unlock services. And if you don't raise much, you still make something and
Mhm.
you still unlock some support. And if, like Vili's done, if you do quite well with it, you get a whole bundle of different things that we help people through training, through hands-on services, and all that kind of thing. So it's kind of it's a really different model to anything out there. Most companies providing services say, here's the price, pay me now or pay me in installments. We say, well, actually, most artists are struggling really to cover all the costs of what they're doing. So we work with people to open up new income streams, and then kind of partner with them in a non-exclusive arrangement. People don't have to sign their they don't have to sign their life away or any of their rights
Mhm.
away or anything like that. It's a
It
really
makes
cool
me
way of working.
wonder. It makes me wonder what Vili's journey was like through this process. Could you talk us through Vili? Because it looked like you did a lot of work, and so maybe back up to how you started and continuing this journey throughout the whole process.
Okay. Let's see. So basically, I'd already taken a music marketing course about 3 years ago. So for me to set up my profile and all of that, I was already familiar with a lot of that, editing photos, creating products online, writing copy, creating a video, because you create a video which is on your profile, which explains why you're doing this crowdfunding campaign and where the funds are going to, and getting people excited, right? So that was all great. So that's what I did. Probably the first month I was getting it all set up in December. Then January rolled around. I did my video. Um, then we scheduled a date for the inner circle event, and so we got that all worked out. And then that happened. And then after that, then I went deep into contacting people that I knew, people that I knew personally, sending emails out through my newsletter to my fans, on social media. I think I even did an ad on Facebook for it, or a boosted post with my video. So that's just basically what I did. And then every day I would work on it, trying to get people excited about it, interested about it. Not everybody, of course, would support you, but the people that did, that's what made the difference. So, like Andy was mentioning, you don't always need, thousands upon thousands of people to support you, but if you have that core group of people, it really makes the difference. But I will say, email is king, because you want to get as many people to be your email subscribers as you can, because that's the people that are going to support you. And not all of those people will support you, but if a good portion of those people support you, then you're doing well,
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
Was
great.
this a way that helped? Did you find during this process that you were actually getting more people onto your mailing list that actually wanted to support you more? Or, in other words, did they come more super fans during the process?
You'd have people who would sign up. Um, yeah, but it mostly comes from that core group of people that really are into what you're doing, and they love what you're doing, and they want to support you. I have some fans that they'll buy everything that I release, and that I feel so blessed from that, because it's a service that you're doing to people, to the world, through your music, and that it's a great blessing. So
Hmm.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible just to hear like what you're going to hear the two perspectives, because it's one thing. Like, Andy's got so many things that he can offer artists, and we're gonna find out more about this. We're taking him up on this
Mhm.
on our
Yes, we
challenge to get him
are.
back here to talk about these
Yeah.
Oh
projects.
yeah.
I will be here. Can we do a morning? Joking.
We're
I'm
gonna
joking.
do more. You are doing a
It's
morning
okay.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
it's
can
morning.
pre-record
Okay.
that. Yes, we can do that.
Yeah, I'm joking. I'm happy for you guys. I'm happy to stay up late. It's all good.
You're awesome, Andy.
Fantastic.
um, but it's so awesome to hear all this. But it's always a blessing to hear from someone who's actually going through it, because many artists can relate to the Villies, that they're trying their hardest, they're doing what they can to get their artwork out there, to get what was given to them, their God-given gifts out there to bless other people. And I just love hearing from that perspective as well, because it makes it a little bit more at home, makes it a little bit more like, hey, if he can do it, I can do it too, right? Right. So
Yeah.
I look at this, and I was just thinking, you guys answer all my questions already. So
Well, I was just
the
thinking you're on something else you just brought to my mind as you were talking there, because it's like Andy has a artist mindset as well. So
mm,
he's kind of in a similar headspace as the artist. So I mean, he can sympathize and understand from the artist's point of view, which is great. I think from Andy's perspective, in order to facilitate the needs of the artist, because he himself is an artist, so he understands what they might need.
absolutely,
Yeah. I
absolutely.
too am a frustrated musician, so I completely get. I completely understand that. I've played in bands. I've been doing music in church. I've been doing, writing, producing, all kinds of things. But I'm also the son of an accountant, so I have to kind of look at numbers. I have to, as well as picking up my guitar. So I really do understand that dilemma. I understand the tension that there is between wanting to create your art and wanting to be appreciated, and that vulnerability of asking people to help, which is never easy. No one wants to ask for help.
Mm.
Nobody wants to make light of the fact that they need help. But at the end of the day, as musicians and frustrated musicians, we do need help. We need people to get behind us and alongside us. And that can take tremendous courage. So I take my, I don't have a hat like Vili, but I take my hat off proverbially to Vili and to all the artists who give it a go, even though they feel really exposed and vulnerable.
Hmm.
And that's why
Hmm.
people will get behind you and meet you there when you kind of stick your neck out, when you go for it, when you make yourself vulnerable. It's like that's when people are going to connect with you and want to get alongside you. So it's not something to do if you're half-hearted. If you're one of those artists who says, "Oh, I'd love to make that transition to being full time," but you're not willing to work at it. You're not willing to make yourself vulnerable. It doesn't generally work for people like that. So you do need to step out of your comfort zone into the kind of somewhere between the danger zone and the growth zone, and that's where people do
Hmm.
well.
Hmm. So,
Mm.
Vili, when we're
Yes.
talking about the journey you went on to get to the 10K, was there a
Right.
place in that building process where you thought, I don't think this is going to happen, or was the process inconvenient at times to whatever, to the workflow, to what you were trying to do as an artist? Was there any challenges or something that was just as you kept going?
Oh, definitely. Especially the first month, um, because you want to get it done in time. And in December, I had a lot of performances. And then towards the end of the month, of course, stuff got canceled because
Mm.
of COVID, unfortunately. But yeah, you felt this pressure to you're putting the pressure on yourself mostly. I got to get this done because I really want to make this happen. Birth my album into the world. I can create it. I can promote it. People can hear it. Um, so yes, it was, and it's a lot of praying, and I think that's important. Asking God for guidance and
Mm.
wisdom as you do anything,
Mhm.
and He will help you. He will guide you. So
So what lessons have you learned through this process? I mean, it's been a journey for you, and you've probably thought to yourself as you've gone through it, oh, that's another notch in my belt. That's another tool in my toolkit. So what's your takeaways from this experience?
well, I was surprised because I thought maybe I would get half, but I ended up getting the full amount, actually a little bit extra. So that was an amazing feeling,
So your
to be
takeaways,
able
anything else that you personally kind of achieved? You thought to yourself, "Oh, that's great."
that I achieved.
Something that you like,
Or,
you've learned.
or even to the inner circle event of like, are people going to come to this? Because I'm going to be asking them, hey, can you help me out? And as Andy was mentioning, as an artist, you don't like to ask people for money or help, but you do need help. You can't do this by yourself. You can do a lot of stuff, a lot of the setup by yourself, but it really does take a lot more than that.
Right.
So I
you
think
put on,
that, go ahead.
I was just thinking you had probably out of your comfort zone. I don't know, but you probably had to just say, okay, I'm going to try to be brave enough to approach this and do what has to be done.
Yeah, a lot of it was that part of it, like the unknown, that's out of your comfort zone. That's where you have to trust,
Right.
And just go for it.
Your campaign is not running now, but is the page still up, Vili?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I'm kind of springing this on or behind the scenes here, but if it's possible to get that page up just so that we can show our viewers kind of the end result. Is that okay? We do that, Andy? We should show the page just to see what it looks like?
Yeah. I can kind of walk you. I can do a screen share if you want. Can I do that? Will it will it let me?
Well, I think what's the website? It's rocketfuelhq.com.
Yeah, I'll just show. I've got Vili's page up now. So can I pop it in the chat?
Yeah, pop it in the chat, and we'll get our behind the scenes. Daryl's behind the scenes doing video, so we'll see if he's able to bring it up and share, because I think it would be kind of helpful just to see kind of the result of going through the process. Because you talked about it being a little bit of a store, and yet it's like Patreon and it's like all the different fundraising groups kind of melded together in one. But it's a brand new project.
I'll just mention.
Sorry, go for it, Vili.
Yeah, I was just going to mention I did have a lot more products on there. There's quite a bit of it on there, but just because of the campaign was over, I just hid them. So just so you know, just in case it looks a little bit less. Yeah.
I've just pinged another link in for one of our active artists as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah.
So Vili's store is still there, so people can support him, but the kind of progress bar and the goal that gets kind of hidden once it's complete. So if Vili wants to do another goal, he can launch another goal whenever he likes, whether that's in 3 months, 6 months, a year, but it keeps everything in one place.
But this is the look of the website right here.
Yeah, so
it talks about the different packages, different links.
Okay.
So we start with, essentially, you greet people with a video. You're envisioning people. You're telling your story. The thing about going into a shop, could you imagine if a sales assistant just came up to you and thrust a product in your face? It's not a very warm greeting. So I like to give people this example. Like when I was once with my girlfriend, my now wife Emily, many years ago, we were visiting Canterbury in England, which is a lovely historic city, and we came to the door at this jeweler's, and the owner of the store came in. He opened the door for us. He asked us what we were doing there. He started to tell us about the story of his jewelers that had been there for 40 years and how his son-in-law was taking over the business, and he was a very gifted ring designer. He started to show us around the store, and getting to know him and the kind of warm introduction, it made an incredible experience. We wanted to buy our engagement rings, and ultimately we got our wedding rings from that store because we had such a good experience of just really liking the person we were buying from. So when you start your page with a really compelling pitch, you tell your story, you warm people up, it can be fun, it can be informative, it can be entertaining. People are going to be more inclined to get involved than if you just send them to a page that says buy this or make a donation. You've got to tell them the story. You've got to get people involved. So sorry, I'm rambling here. I'm giving you too much
No, no.
information. This is what you get when you invite someone on to stay up past midnight. So we start with the video, and then if you have an active campaign, you have a yellow bar that comes up to mark your progress. You won't see that with Vili, but you can see that on the other pages. And then as you scroll down, you have the products. And the thing we encourage people to do with their store is to have things at every price bracket. If all you have are products for $10, if you want to make $1,000, you've got to sell 100 of them, and you do need a big audience. But when you have those services and experiences, the handmade products, the limited edition, the exclusives, the VIP bundles, as well as the standard bundles, you're going to get people supporting at a much higher level. Essentially, you put the decision in the hand of the supporter. They can decide, do I buy the $10 product, or do I buy the $500 or the $50 product? They decide, rather than you telling them it's not worth very much and you can just spend $10 on this. And it's amazing how often people will go for the deluxe version or the VIP version or whatever it might be. And then you have the subscriptions. If you scroll down to the bottom of the page, I think your subscriptions are on, Vili. That's right. You have them before I demonstrate something that isn't actually there. But if you go right down to the bottom of the page,
I believe they're there. Yes.
there you go. So you have the membership levels. So this is recurring revenue. It's clockwork revenue coming in to you as an artist, and people get stuff in return. So it creates community, it creates interaction and engagement. And this is what you need. You don't just want people listening to your songs on Spotify from a distance. You want to be up close and personal with them. You want them coming along to your live streams and getting access to your exclusives. It creates a bond. It creates a relationship with them. So the aim is always, for me, is to try and help people get away from this idea of, I just want spectators to, draw your spectators, like Vili said, onto your email list, get them to become subscribers, and then turn those subscribers into supporters. Supporters are willing to spend money and happy to spend money. Spectators just want to watch from a distance. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd much rather have, a small audience of supporters than a large crowd of people who are kind of, yeah, okay, I'll listen from a distance, but they don't want to get involved. They don't want to go. They don't want to turn out to shows. They don't want, I want to encourage people to get supporters. Go from crowd to community to core, because it's a much more fulfilling journey when people are kind of on board and getting alongside you.
That makes sense.
And
it does.
it's one of our cores, right? Community,
Exactly.
Encouraging community. So everyone, Rocket Fuel encourages community.
Absolutely.
I love it. Actually, you know
Now-
what I really love about this is I always hear the term fans, like get your fan. They always have super fans, have fans, but I love how you call it supporters, because what it sounds like to me is that Rocket Fuel encourages the fans to become involved with the artist. They're not just watching from a distance, and it's not like a TV screen. Here's the artist and watching, clap, clap, clap. It's the artist. It seems like this, that the artist is inviting the fans, if I can use that in quotes, inviting the fans to say, hey, come and get involved, come into my inner circle, come into my space and be a part of what I'm doing. You're not just watching from a distance, but you're part of it now. Is that, am I reading that correctly? That's what it seems like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we use the circles, like the outer circle, the big wide world, the crowd, your spectators, your community, your your subscribers, your core, they're your supporters, and then in the middle you have your inner circle. We call the Zoom events that we run inner circle events. And what I love about doing these events is they're so edifying. Now, I wasn't on Vili's call because I think it was even later than this, I think. So Steve, who works with us in Florida, he's a Canadian, but I think he hosted your event, didn't he, Vili?
He did, right? Yes. Yeah, he
did. So what we do with the inner circle is we show artists a really good format that they can actually do themselves. We teach them in advance how to do an inner circle event, but we also with the 10K challenge, we actually host these events with people. So if you're kind of accepted into the 10K challenge, you get the opportunity to have one of these events. And what we do is we get the artists to invite people. That could be friends and family, fans and followers, or even financial backers, people who just want to support, you know, what you're doing financially, people who've maybe given you gifts before, or, you know, people you know who are generous and want to support the kind of mission that you do as an artist. And you invite them along, and over about 45 minutes or so, we take them through a really cool format. We get the artist to reveal why we're all here. They give, you know, the exciting news that they're launching a new project, and everyone can be involved. And then we do some fun stuff. We do a 5-question quiz where we do a bit of trivia about the artist, and it's all quite fun. They get to meet Archie the astronaut. It's all very lighthearted. And then we ask the artist to tell their story. You know, how did they get started? What are some of the highlights of their journey so far? What are some of the struggles and challenges they faced? Why are they here at Rocketfuel? And then we tell people a little bit about the story of how Rocketfuel started, why it started, how important it is that we don't just expect our artists to starve to death whilst producing content for us to entertain us. We need to look after them. We need to support them. And we get people to have a look around the platform. We show them the page and show them how they can support, make a donation, make a purchase, sign up for a subscription. And then we invite people to get on board, and not to wait till the last few days when the artist has lost their hair and not had much sleep and they're worried about hitting their target. We ask them to get on board there and then. We ask them to get on board before the artist goes public with their campaign. And what we found, just like with Vili, is quite a lot of people, not everyone, but quite a lot of people who joined the Inner Circle did jump on board within a few days before he went public. And then when he goes public with his campaign, he's not at 0%. He's not at 1%. He's well past 20%, and people see that it's going somewhere. And then people have more confidence to support something when they see that it's working. So we love the Inner Circle because having just explained that concept, anyone who's watching, you know, they might think, oh, I could do that. I could gather people on Zoom, or Vili's been in one, and he could do that event every 6 months with his supporters. He doesn't need us to babysit him. He can do it himself, but we've shown him something that maybe takes a bit of work and it requires a format and some thought, but he can do that now. He can do that again in the future, and he can nurture those relationships with those supporters who I can guarantee, and I'm saying it here because Vili's on the call, I can guarantee those people will support again. That wasn't a one-off. You know, they're going to hear the album, they're going to think, oh, cool, I helped make this. And they'll support again next year, or they'll sign up for a subscription when you invite them to. And that's what we managed to do with Philippa over several years. Is we took the crowd and we turned them into a community, and then we found many, many core supporters and raised over $150,000 through the platform. And it takes work, yes, it does, but it's so worthwhile to get people along for the ride, not just spectators but supporters.
Right. So not only did Vili achieve his 10K, he actually exceeded it. So I want to find out what he's doing with that finances after this commercial break. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
GMIHub is accepting new songs for their 2022 Christmas compilation. To find out how to submit your song, go to www.gmihub.ca today. GMIHub Family Christmas Volume 3. Ho, 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 ho.
Who's doing that voice? I mean, who is the voice?
That's our friend.
You like that voice?
It's not you, Dave. It's definitely not Cheryl. But
no, it's not.
No, it's our friend Andrew.
Yes. Okay.
It's Andrew Martin.
Sorry.
Andrew Martin does that voice. And I just want to remind everybody, this July 31st is the deadline. Get your submissions in. Today would be great. If you're able to get those songs, those Christmas songs put together, we'd love to have your song on the GMIHub Family Christmas Volume 3. Looking forward to it this year.
Absolutely.
So
Speaking of
let's
songs,
talk about what Vili is doing with the money he's raised.
So,
yes, Vili.
100% of what I raise, my part, that's going to record the album that I'm going to be recording. And hopefully also as well the marketing and the promotion and of course the duplication. So that's going to start for me in June. So I've already have everything set up, and I got an amazing studio I'm going to be recording it at in Caledonia on the Six Nations in Oswego, I think it is. And it's a beautiful studio, and I'm excited because I've got some really great musicians on the session.
And so the money breakdown for the studio, it sounds kind of vague, but you have studio engineers, you have artists, there's a whole list of things that need to take care of.
You got to pay the band, the engineer, of course, studio time, and even tuning the piano when you come in, that has to be paid for. So,
and you're also paying for pizza, right?
Dinner for everybody. No,
that's right. You got to do that.
No, that's awesome. That is really awesome. So when is this album, like your recording starts in June, but the whole process, when do you think you're going to be releasing your album, or at least your songs?
I want to release it either in the spring of next year or the summer. That's
awesome.
Because I'm going to take my time with it this year, and then planning it, which Andy's going to be helping me with, of course, and with the courses and our meetings and that sort of thing. And that's one of the things I like about it, because there's a hands-on, so he gets to know me as an artist, and there's a little bit more in-depth back and forth how he can help and advice and that sort of thing. So.
Because of what you've learned through the Rocketfuel program, does that mean, for example, those inner circles, will you be using those kind of platforms to kind of keep your supporters informed of how things are going? I only ask because I know some of your fans are watching right about now. So they're kind of like, "Hi, Billy."
I'd love to do another inner circle event, and unveil the songs to the core people before anybody else, to get a sneak peek of the release. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that would be very cool. Awesome.
Is that
so? Yeah, it's just a matter of planning everything and figuring out how I'm going to do it. So
awesome. Is that normally what happens in Rocketfuel? Do you normally encourage that, Andy, or did I just throw something totally different in that system?
No, well, the inner circle events, we use them for various different things, like for launching a crowdfunding event or launching a crowdfunding campaign is really good to do through that. We've had people do inner circle events as kind of goal closing parties, if they're like a bit of a telethon, if they're still short, on their goal, it can be a good way to get people involved, or a celebration party, or just the thing is, it's just good to gather people. You guys do these sessions once every week, so as an artist, don't just go live on Facebook or Instagram, once every week or month. Just gather people on a Zoom, in some kind of interactive forum every term, or twice a year, or at least once a year, because it's just really good. If you see something works, don't just do it once. Obviously Billy's not going to go and launch another goal to try and raise further funding right away, having just done that. But in 6 months he may have like another project that he's doing where he may launch like a flash sale, or he may do some kind of launch around his subscriptions, because most of the support that's come in has been one-time donors and people purchasing products. Not much of that revenue has been made up through subscriptions. So we try and encourage people to build the momentum, because ultimately you need various different income streams as an artist. If you're fully reliant on one income stream, then you don't have a very robust business model. So we encourage people to utilize Rocketfuel for what we call the 5-level offering, content, products, services, experiences, and subscriptions. And when you develop that 5-level offering, you're going to be in a much better position than someone who's just relying on one income stream. Because as we found with the pandemic, so many artists, rely on their gig money on a weekend, and that can vanish all too quickly. Or, there's there's no kind of downside of developing that offering. It's only a good thing to have in
Andy,
place.
could you go over that list one more time, that 5-item list for us?
Yeah, sure. So we call it the 5-level offering, and we try and help artists to kind of embody that and put that together through Rocket Fuel. We teach it in the Rocket Fuel Academy. We teach it through our driving seat program. We teach it through our jigsaw program. It's one of our foundational frameworks. So we teach people, you need content, you need products, you need services, experiences, and subscriptions. So the thing with content is aimed at the crowd. It's aimed at your kind of, potentially your cold audience, those who aren't really invested. And people need content. Content can also generate revenue if you hit scale with streaming. If you get millions of streams, your content generates revenue. Your content might get on a film, it might get synced, it might earn you revenue through your publishing. Content is really important, but content is hard to monetize early on. So then you think about products. Now, you could package up some of your content as a product, take your videos and put together some behind the scenes footage and create a video bundle that you actually sell. Why should you just give everything away for free? Save some of the best cuts back for people who want to pay for products. We then encourage people with products to develop products at every price bracket, the $10 product, the $50 product, the $100, the $1,000 product, to make sure you cater for people at all price brackets. And then services can be a really cool thing to do. It could be remixers, it could be music lessons that you actually repackage as a masterclass or an academy. So you're not just doing it at the cheap end of things. And then we encourage people to develop immersive experiences, because ultimately the value of recorded music has gone down and down and down and down, from CDs to then MP3s to now streamings. The value's gone down, but experiences, people crave those, and the price of concert tickets has gone up and up and up. So you need to offer experiences. And then when it comes to subscriptions, essentially all you're doing with a subscription is bundling the content, the products, the services, maybe the experiences perhaps, into a recurring revenue model where people pay something each month for different bundles of these things. So it makes so much sense to develop that 5-level offering: content, products, services, experiences, and subscriptions. Again, this is the son of an accountant talking here. Multiple income streams is for anyone wanting to run a business or to make your expensive hobby as a musician less expensive. The more income streams you have, the better.
Well, Andy, the truth of the matter is a lot of artists don't have the technical skills for the other side of the coin. So it's great to have you come and present this to us today. It's been a fabulous conversation. Anything you wanted to say, Cheryl? Because I just love this.
I'm letting Dale be in awe of all of this,
Yeah.
because he's like, this is awesome.
Yes, it's so cool. It's okay. So Vili, how would you recommend Rocket Fuel to an artist who's trying to raise funds?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. But again, they have to decide, how well they know the people that are going to be supporting them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If those people, their core people, are going to support them, maybe they need to learn more about marketing first. So Andy has those services as well that they can learn about that. Yeah, that's basically, yeah.
Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you wanted to share, Vili, before we close off tonight?
I think you were going to ask me something about what I was doing next or something, I believe.
Yeah, that's the up and coming, the projects you got coming up.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention I'm performing on June the 11th at the St. Francis Center in Ajax, and as well on July the 9th at the Players Guild in Hamilton. It's a theater there. So I'll just show you this real quick if you want to check it out. There's my poster for July the 9th. Yeah. So I just thought I'd share that with you. And you can find that on my website, vilimusic.com. Yeah.
Awesome.
vilimusic.com. Now, Andy, is there anything that we should have talked about tonight? And maybe maybe there's something you wanted to say to somebody out there. We said it already, perhaps, but it's something you think this is something I really wanted to make sure that people understand before we move on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'd love to give your kind of your community the opportunity to get involved with the 10K challenge. So um, we have a 3 day program we're starting. We have a learning platform called LearnX. So we're just currently in the process of launching, and we have a free 3 day program called the Music Career Masterclass that we'd love to offer out to everyone who's kind of watching. It's launching very soon, like literally in the next few days. So what I'll do is I'll send you guys information on it, and then if you can share it on the link or
Yeah,
with your
yes, I think
email
that's
list.
the best thing for it.
Um,
Yeah, we'll share it in the link.
it's
So if you're watching right now, we're going to have that in the link after this video is uploaded and set. We'll make sure that's there for you to access.
awesome.
Continue, Andy. What were you going to say?
Yeah, you can do the free 3 day program. There's no scheduling. There's no cost, obviously, with this. And at the end of that program, if you feel that you want to take up the 10K challenge, you can actually sign up for that. And we have 3 different levels you can join at, but we show you in the Music Career Masterclass how you can access those for free. All you need to do is commit to launching with Rocket Fuel in 30 days. So it's a really cool opportunity. You don't have to pay to get access to the training. There are services that we deliver, and it's a revenue share model, as we explained at the beginning. We're not a charity; we don't do everything, for free. But we have a really creative way and a tried and tested way of helping artists to pay for services that we do, and that's through the Rocket Fuel platform, through the 10K challenge. So, the Music Career Masterclass is awesome because you'll get to know what we teach through Rocket Fuel. We cover the 3 driving seat frameworks: artist development, brand development, business development. You'll get a sense of whether we're the kind of people you want to work with. And then if you do want to work with us, you can sign up for the 10K challenge, which we show you how you can avoid paying for it, which is really cool. It's really easy to do, just like Vili's done. Yes, there's been some work involved, but it's not anything that people can't try, that they can't commit to. And we love seeing people succeed with the 10K challenge. Actually, we've had, just to give you a stat on this, the average artist who's gone through and launched through the 10K challenge, it's made $3,000. That's on average. So Vili has performed above average. He's definitely, he's a straight A student in this, this kind of challenge so far. He's done really well. But the average has made $3,000 in just a few months. So, and that's just awesome. So if you want to be an average performer, that's cool. But if you want to follow in Vili's footsteps and give it a real go, we are looking for serious artists who really want to share their music with the world.
Did I mention that Vili is on one of our compilation CDs? Just thought I'd mention that, as we have supported him. We think he's fabulous, and it's great to have you both, Andy and Vili, on our program. Really a blessing. And
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome having you guys. And I hope that as you were watching this, you were learning a lot. I know we are learning a lot. Rocket Fuel is an awesome resource. And yes, we are going to get that information to you. Down in the description, we will be adding the Rocket Fuel website, and also on our website, all the whenever the next masterclass is, we're going to get all of that from Andy and get the word out. If you want to learn more about this, I urge you, visit gmihub.ca and join the community. Just your name, your email address. That is primarily how we get the word out there about things like this, services like this, opportunities like this. That's how we get it out. And you know what? GMIHub is here to help. We don't want to spam you. Daryl said that at the very beginning. We're not here to spam you. We're not here to inundate your mailbox with things that are useless. We are here, though, to provide you with resources. We are here to provide you with opportunities and also give you a voice, to share what you are doing, your successes as well. So please go to our website, gmihub.ca, and where it has the opportunity to say, join the community, your name, your email address. It doesn't cost that much, 30 seconds of your time, even if that. And we would love to connect with you. If you have any thoughts, questions, feel free to email us as well. Again, gmihub.ca, and you can, we will be happy to receive your questions. We'll be happy to even forward them to Andy if you have more questions to Andy or to Vili. I'm sure they'd be very happy to help. And I know my subscribe button already came up, but if this is the first time that you've been watching, I know I've checked the stats. A lot of you watch and don't subscribe. So I'm saying this to you now. You who are watching and not subscribed, subscribe, because information like this is valuable. Okay.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
so don't be a stat that says you're going to watch and walk away. Become a supporter.
Absolutely.
There, become part of the community. And we would love to, love to share these experiences for you. You can also follow us on our social medias. We're on Facebook, Instagram, always get this mixed up, Twitter and TikTok as well. So we're usually at GMI Hub. Just look for at GMI Hub, except for on Twitter, we're at Industry Gospel. So all of that to simply say, thank you so much for joining us. Next week is our Easter weekend. So we are going to actually take that day off. So that Monday, enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, or if you're kind of on your own and you have nothing else to do, come back to our YouTube channel and check out all the different episodes we have. We have over 90 episodes that you could be watching and gleaning lots of great information. So feel free to come back and visit us there. And then we'll be back in a couple of weeks, where actually you probably saw the ad briefly, but we are going to go hybrid. What that simply means is this: mandates have lifted. We're allowed to meet in person. So we are actually going to we're going to invite people that are in our area to come and be part of our studio audience. And if you're in the GTA area or driving distance into the GTA area and you want to check us out, then please let us know. Come and we'll send you the address. I think the address is here. Our special guest will be Brooke Nichols. Brooke Nichols, recording artist, and we're excited to have her. We actually had her husband on here a couple of weeks ago on a studio talk, and we look forward to having him back as well. So all that to simply say lots of good things happening. I also wanted to mention that we have booked him now. A lot of people, I hear this name and they get excited, whether you're a Christian artist or not. Tom Jackson. Tom Jackson has been booked for May the 9th to be on this program. May the 9th, he is coming here and he's going to be sharing 5 things you need to know before going on stage. So you don't want to miss that. Tom Jackson's coming back to be with us here on GMIHub Online. So there's my advertisement, but I'm going to say thank you so much. I want to be respectful to Andy because it's now probably 1 o'clock in the morning for him.
He's probably tired.
Thank you so he's getting a little tired.
He's falling asleep. He's like this.
But Andy, again, thank you so much for
Yes.
being with us. We really appreciate you, and stay on for a little bit because we just want to get all that information from you. Vili, thank you so much for sharing your
Bless you.
experience. You do realize now that you are like the I was not the icon, what's the word? The example, the mentor. Now we have made you officially a mentor for a lot of other artists. So if other artists are going to call and go, Vili, how did you do it? I hope you're ready to help out. Answer that.
I'm ready to help people. Yes. Thank you so
awesome.
much for having me on the program. Yeah.
Add on a membership tier at Rocketfuel Vili. Just for $500 a month, you can give them secrets. There you go.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so kind, Andy. So kind.
He's got my back.
Exactly. There you go. And again, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great, happy Easter and celebrate that he is risen. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye for now.
He is risen indeed.
Bye.
God bless.
Bye. Yay.